Behind every athlete, there's a story. And sometimes that story takes an unexpected turn. This is the untold story of 15 NBA players who made headlines for all the wrong reasons. From assault and drug charges, to gun possession, and even murder, varying from thoughtless actions to the most heinous crimes. Get ready to discover the untold stories of 15 NBA players who went from fame to infamy in this captivating journey. Number 15. Allen Iverson. On February 14th of 1993, a young Allen Iverson and his friends went to a bowling alley, but their night took a violent turn. A fight erupted between them and a group of white men, leading to chaos and injuries. Iverson was subsequently charged and convicted of being part of a mob with the intent to harm. Despite no white men being sentenced, Iverson was given a harsh 15-year sentence, ultimately spending 4 months in jail before his conviction was overturned. The incident left a lasting impact on Iverson's life and career, shaping his outlook on justice and inspiring him to become a vocal advocate for social change. Number 14. Jason Williams. In 2001, the police responded to a shooting at the 65-acre estate of Williams in Alexandria Township, New Jersey. After a night of drinking, Williams showed his gun collection to his guests, including Christophe, his limo driver. He pointed his Browning 12-gauge shotgun towards Christophe, and while yanking it upwards, the gun discharged and fatally wounded the driver's stomach. In a panicked frenzy, Williams manipulated the crime scene in an effort to shift blame from himself to the victim, creating a calculated lie that Christophe had committed suicide. Williams was acquitted of the charge in 2004, but his case was reopened in 2010. He pled guilty to aggravated assault and served 5 years in prison, being released in April 2012. Number 13. Ron Artest. One of the instigators and the central figure of the famous brawl between the Indiana Pacers players and the Detroit Pistons fans, also known as the Malice in the Palace, Ron Artest found himself in the headlines yet again in 2007. This time, it wasn't a brawl on the court, but a physical altercation with his wife. He was arrested by the police on suspicion of domestic violence. Reportedly, after a heated argument, he shoved his wife on the ground several times and refused to let her call the police. Ron Artest was placed into the Placer County Jail and later released on $50,000 bail. Despite the severity of the accusations, Artest was not charged with any crimes. However, this incident shed light on a dark side of the athlete's personal life and raised questions about his behavior off the court. Number 12. Stefan Marbury. Stefan Marbury has faced multiple accusations of sexual misconduct, including unwanted advances and harassment towards women. In 2006, a former Knicks intern filed a lawsuit against Marbury, accusing him of sexual harassment. The intern claimed that Marbury repeatedly made unwanted sexual advances towards her and created a hostile work environment. In 2007, another woman came forward with similar accusations against Marbury. She claimed that he had invited her to his hotel room and then made unwanted sexual advances towards her. Marbury has denied all of these allegations, and in some cases, he has even countersued his accusers. However, the allegations have had a significant impact on his career and reputation. Number 11. Rasheed Wallace. Rasheed Wallace, one of the most talented and controversial players in NBA history, has a long history of getting into trouble, and his behavior off the court often made headlines. In 1997, he was arrested for marijuana possession in North Carolina, where he played college basketball. But that was just the beginning. In 2002, Wallace was arrested for driving with a suspended license. And the following year, he was arrested for disorderly conduct after allegedly threatening a police officer. Wallace's temper also got him into trouble during games. He was ejected from numerous games and accumulated over 300 technical fouls in his career, a record at the time. Even though he helped the Pistons win a championship in 2004, he continued to have problems with the law. He was arrested in 2009 for driving under the influence in Michigan, and in 2013, he was cited for driving with a suspended license again and having an improper registration. Number 10. Gilbert Arenas. On January 1st, 2010, it was reported that Arenas and a teammate, Javaris Crichton, had unloaded guns in the Wizards' locker room during a Christmas Eve argument regarding gambling debts. Arenas was charged with carrying a pistol without a license, a violation of Washington, D.C.'s gun control laws. Arenas pleaded guilty on January 15th to the felony of carrying an unlicensed gun outside a home or business. He ended up serving 2 years of probation. Number 9. Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman was the bad boy of the 90s. In a recent interview, he shared with the public that he has been in jail over 100 times in his life. In 2008, he was arrested in LA after a woman reported to the police that he had struck her during an argument, accusing him of domestic violence. The former basketball player was sentenced to 1 year of domestic violence counseling and 3 years probation. He also had to complete 45 days of community service, specifically physical labor like highway cleanup or graffiti removal. Number 8. Zach Randolph. Randolph has endured a list of legal troubles throughout his NBA career. In May 2002, Randolph was cited for underage drinking. In 2003, he was suspended for 2 games and fined $100,000 for punching Trailblazers teammate Ruben Patterson. In December 2003, Randolph was charged with driving while under the influence of intoxicants following a police stop during which marijuana was smelled in his vehicle. In August 2004, Randolph avoided charges of lying to investigators regarding a nightclub shooting. His brother spent 3 years in prison. In June 2006, Randolph was cited for street racing in Portland. 2 months later, charges of sexual assault were dropped. In April 2009, he was charged with a DUI, though the charges were later reduced. In 2017, he was also arrested for drug possession and resisting arrest and was sentenced to 150 hours of community service. Number 7. Tony Parker. In 2012, Tony Parker ended up in a nightclub brawl between Chris Brown and Drake that involved bottle throwing, possible gunshots, and fighting. Tony Parker was reportedly sitting at his own table, away from it all, but the fight spread out, and a bottle hit him in the head. He suffered an eye injury, which caused him to miss several NBA games. And as a result of the altercation at the nightclub, Parker took legal action and sued the nightclub for not having proper security protocols and providing a safe place for the customers. Number 6. Jason Kidd. On January 19, 2001, the police arrested Jason Kidd after his wife was injured in the climax of a day-long quarrel. Reportedly, they had been arguing over the feeding of their 2-year-old son, Trey. Kidd admitted to the police he had struck his wife, resulting in a cut on the inside of her mouth and slight swelling to her lip. He pleaded guilty to spousal abuse and was fined $200 and ordered to take anger management training. No further charges were brought. Number 5. Kobe Bryant. On June 30th, 2003, a 19-year-old woman working at the front desk of the Lodge and Spa at Cordillera in the Rocky Mountains town of Edwards, Colorado, accompanied Bryant on a tour of the property. She later went to Bryant's hotel room, where she said he raped her. Bryant, 24 at the time, was charged with 1 count of felony assault. It took 14 months for the criminal case to be resolved. The accuser decided she would not testify, and prosecutors dropped the case on September 1, 2004. A civil suit brought by the accuser in August 2004 was settled out of court on March 2, 2005, marking the end of an often graphic legal saga that drew worldwide attention but never resulted in a trial. Number 4. Carmelo Anthony. 3 men were busted in 2004 for shaking down NBA star Carmelo Anthony for $3 million over a tape they claimed to have of him during a squabble at a Manhattan nightclub. The trio contacted Anthony and said they had a videotape showing him hitting someone at Club Babalu on West 44th Street on September 13th after a dispute involving his girlfriend. Police investigated the fight and Carmelo Anthony's involvement in it. However, the tape was never recovered, and the case against Carmelo was dropped. Number 3. Contavious Caldwell Pope. On December 21st, 2017, Contavious Caldwell Pope served a 25-day jail sentence for breaking his parole. KCP was allowed to leave on a work release for games and practices. However, he was required to wear a GPS monitor and to complete a breathalyzer test whenever he was away from the detention facility. The original infraction came while Caldwell Pope was a member of the Detroit Pistons shortly after a game against the Miami Heat. He then failed to comply with a Michigan court's drug and alcohol screening order, which required him to undergo random tests. Number 2. J.R. Smith. In 2007, while still playing for the Denver Nuggets, Smith was driving 65 miles per hour in a 35-mile-per-hour zone. His reckless driving led to an incident, hitting another car as he ran a stop sign. It caused him and his passenger to be ejected from the vehicle. Smith received minor injuries from the incident, but his friend, Andre Bell, died in the incident. This was a huge blow to Smith, who struggled with his role in Bell's death for a long time. Later, a judge sentenced him to 90 days in jail, suspending 60 days of the sentence if he served 500 hours of community service. At his sentencing, Smith expressed his sincere remorse for the incident, holding himself accountable for his actions. Number 1. Javaris Crichton. In August 2011, Javaris Crichton was involved in 2 Atlanta area shootings, one of which left a 22-year-old woman dead. Crichton shot and killed Julian Jones, a mother of 4 children, in a drive-by shooting while she was outside her home. When Crichton appeared in court in 2015, he admitted to being a gang member. In his plea bargain, Crichton was sentenced to 23 years in prison for voluntary manslaughter and aggravated assault along with his cousin, Douglas Gamble. Both he and Gamble were originally charged with more charges including murder, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and participation in criminal street gang activity. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the lives of 15 NBA players who landed in jail. Their stories serve as cautionary tales and a reminder that even those who seem invincible can fall from grace.